His charges include conspiracy, assault, robbery, weapons offenses, a string of attacks on local store clerks, and shooting 2 U.S. Marshals in 2007. During the trial, a brave prison inmate was testifying about the inner workings of the gang. Suddenly, Angelau got a bright idea. He noticed a pen, and the idea took shape in his head.
Walls.
Fortunately, a vigilant U.S. Marshal sprang into action before anyone could fully comprehend what was happening. Angelau was hit multiple times and sustained a chest injury. He was promptly taken to the hospital. Thankfully, aside from Angelau, no one else was harmed, as the intended target narrowly avoided the assault with the pen. Unfortunately, Angelau eventually succumbed to his injuries.
Walls.
Sayal Angelau is a prime example of a convict acting crazy in court. He was charged with petite theft and damaged property for his actions at Walgreens. However, the real shocker came when Damatio unleashed his madness in the courtroom. During his bond hearing before Broward Judge John Hurley, Damatio decided to put on a show. After all, he is a Hollywood musician. Our musician really believes he's a popular celebrity and wants confirmation from the judge.
Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
You know me, don't you?
No.
I was going to Walgreens to pick up my strips. They said it was a 45-minute wait for some reason. I'm walking around shopping. I go to the bathroom to take a piss and wash my hands, and the manager's in there waiting for me, thinking I'm shoplifting. I wasn't shoplifting anything.
No.
No. My first, second, third, fourth, 13th, 14th Amendment rights have been violated.
However, this wasn't Damatio's first brush with crime. A prosecutor informed Judge Hurley that Damatio was on probation for grand theft.
2 things worth noting. Mr. DiMatteo was arrested September 14th of this year at a Mexican restaurant, where allegedly he ran up a bill for $256.26. He refused to leave or pay for his tab. Additionally, September 29th of this year, he was placed on 18 months probation for grand theft.
While the judge goes through the facts of the case, Damatio decides to drum his way into the judge's favor.
Oh boy.
Instead, his music only attracted corrections officers. Following Damatio's disruptive behavior, corrections officers forcibly removed him from the courtroom.
Okay, so that's fine, but I don't think it's too much to ask.
The bond hearing continued without his presence. Following the disruptive incidents, Damatio's bond was revoked, and he was remanded into custody. Eventually, his damage to property charge was dismissed, and he was ordered to pay for the petty theft.
Your Honor, sidebar.
Oh boy.
However, just when you thought you'd seen it all, another convict surpasses Timothy Damatio's wild courtroom display. A 52-year-old man facing charges of killing and dismembering a woman he had met on the dating app Tinder. The victim of this horrifying ordeal was Sidney Loof, a store clerk who vanished in November 2017 after a Tinder date with Bailey Boswell, Trail's girlfriend at the time. Loof's dismembered remains were tragically discovered in trash bags in a rural area a month later. Throughout the trial, the prosecution alleged that Trail and Boswell had meticulously plotted the crime for weeks, using social media to lure their unsuspecting victim into their deadly trap. They argued that their intentions were evil and had devastating consequences. As the trial progressed, emotions ran high, and the tension in the courtroom reached a boiling point. Trail's defense team argued that Loof's death was accidental and occurred during a consensual sexual encounter. The prosecution provided this as evidence that Trail and Boswell were responsible for Loof's death. But the proceedings took a tragic turn when a witness had just finished testifying. Trail, apparently unable to contain his feelings any longer, suddenly erupted in a dramatic outburst.
Please be seated.
Bailey is innocent, not Kurt Ross.
Bailiffs rushed to restrain him as he collapsed from his wheelchair, and the courtroom was left in disarray.
Please be seated.
Bailey is innocent, not Kurt Ross.
Stop recording.
He was immediately rushed to the hospital. Fortunately, Trail's injuries were later reported as not severe, and he made a full recovery, appearing in court in less than 3 weeks. Trail's attorneys later suggested that he had harmed himself using a piece of a razor blade, but they assured the court that his injuries were not severe. The judge ordered that Trail must appear in handcuffs for the remainder of the trial. Eventually, Trail was sentenced to death.
Bailey is innocent, not Kurt Ross.
However, Trail's discontent with their sentence brings to mind the striking culprit. Jose Azucena is facing trial for the heinous crime and, if convicted, will be sentenced to life imprisonment. Azucena faced 40 charges, including child sexual assault, lewdness, and kidnapping. Prosecutors argued that he had exploited his position as a family friend to lure and abuse 5 young girls in his Las Vegas apartment complex between 2014 and 2016.
Victim
says he took her into his apartment where he tied her up and taped her mouth shut before sexually assaulting her.
Prepare for a twist that will make your jaw drop. Before the trial, Judge Scotty must ensure that the members of the jury must pledge to be fair and unbiased.
Okay, so can you be fair to both sides?
However, a female member of the jury expressed concerns about her ability to be unbiased if chosen for the jury.
I think I would be biased.
And Judge Scotty lost it.
You didn't say that yesterday.
Well, I said I had
No,
other
listen,
issues.
what we're not going to have in this jury is people come in overnight and thinking of and try to make up now so they can get out of the jury. That's not going to happen, all right?
I
Now,
did
what's
say-
going on here?
I
Tell me
did
what's
say-
going on.
I said I had other issues yesterday, and you said you'd get back to me.
All right, so why you got issues? Why can't you're saying that you can't be fair and impartial to both sides? You're going to completely throw out our entire justice system because you don't want to be fair and impartial.
Your Honor, may we approach? Your
No,
Honor.
you can't approach.
And subsequently dismissed her from the jury.
You're off this jury. You're off this jury. You're removed. Go home, all right?
Eventually, Jose Azucena was sentenced to life imprisonment. However, Judge Scotty's behavior raised eyebrows, and Jose Azucena's conviction was overturned due to Judge Scotty's questionable behavior during the trial. The Nevada Supreme Court panel concluded that Judge Scotty's behavior had created an intimidating atmosphere that tainted the jury panel's integrity. The situation created doubt about whether Scotty's actions influenced the guilty verdicts handed down by the jury. Nevertheless, the court pointed out that no other jurors disclosed any bias or concerns about impartiality. The intimidating atmosphere created by Judge Scotty's behavior was deemed unacceptable. They decided that a different judge should oversee Jose Azucena's new trial.
You're going to completely throw out our entire justice system because you don't want to be fair and impartial. You're off this jury. You're off this jury.
However, when emotions run high in court,